All right, welcome back. Today we're going to go through another really outstanding car. This is a 1993 Z28 Camaro in Burgundy. So let's talk about 93 first. So for 93, the car's got the yellow instrument panel, which was only featured, I believe, in 93, maybe in 94, but definitely only 93 and possibly 94. So probably one of the only cars, coincidentally, just a little fact, to not have that little arrow next to the fuel tank to say which side it's on. So, but they only ran this dash. I think this dash was only 93, and this radio as well. Now, unfortunately, this was the first year of the fourth generation. These cars had a little flaw with this radio, and the flaw was that the light would stay on full brightness all the time. So I just switched it on, and so you can see this is on full brightness. This will kill the battery of the car as it sits in storage. After about 10 days, the car won't start. So this was a flaw with 93 Camaros. They all came this way that had this radio. This is the 3-speaker radio. My solution, I didn't want to remove it because I was trying to keep the car all original. And I just installed a little switch here that kills AC power to the radio. So the factory radio remains in the car. The only change is this is just an interrupting switch to the 12-volt signal. So the radio switches off. But the car still runs perfectly fine. No issue with that. It didn't interfere with anything. It just cuts the radio off so it doesn't kill the battery. So the seats have been changed out on the car. These Brahms seats were released about 3 years ago, and they match the car, so I had to get them. So these seats are about 3 years old. I have the original seats that came in the car. They are in mint condition. They are in the Brahms box, and I will give them to whoever purchases the car with the vehicle. You can see the way the seats look that are still in the car. But the Brahms match in there really well, fit in with the car. Another thing for 93 is these T-tops have like a matte finish to them, like a dotted, I don't know what to call it, but they're kind of tinted, and that was a 93 only thing. If you're not familiar with the 4th generation Camaro, so in the past, T-tops have been a little bit of a headache. You know, with the 70s Corvettes, you had to put them in a bag in the back of the car, and the 3rd generation Camaros, the IROCs, you had to put them in a bag and strap the bag down here. This is the cover that's on the car 99.99% of the time. But with the 4th generation car, these T-tops, they lock right into the trunk. Pretty great design. I mean, it's really a terrific design. Makes them very easy to take in, very to take out. So speaking of which, I'm just going to show you real quick how to go about taking the tops out. Real easy. Flip the switch, pull the top out. Lock. The top locks right into the rack. Very easy to do. I mean, I usually grab one and my wife grabs the other one. But it starts to rain, we can just pull over, put these tops back in real quick. And this is the top that's on the car in the garage 99% of the time. Going through the car a little bit, you can see here's the weather strips on the doors. You can kind of tell this car is not sat outside, or sometimes if you have a front bumper repair, they have to bake that paint on because it's flexible. So when that process is done, these weather strips always wind up getting cracked. So no cracks in the weather strip. The car has not been repainted. The front bumper is the original bumper. There is a little bit of patina if you look at it closely. The color there, just a little bit on the edge, just a little tiny bit. But this is the original front bumper that came on the car. You can tell it's got the Chevy bow tie built right into it. All the aftermarket ones usually don't. You can see the paint is Just glossy paint. Another shot, the weather strip on the other side of the car, no cracking, none of that. You can see a interior shot here. Now I have the original factory floor mats as well. They're the same color as the gray as the carpet, and I did not want them to get stained. A lot of times we take the car out to dinner, you know, it might rain or something. So I didn't want them to get stained. So I have the factory floor mats in a box, and they'll go with the car. So the factory seats are in a box, and they're you know, they look pretty much like they did when the car was bought. And the factory floor mats are in the box. So 93 LT1 Corvette engine in the car, and the first year since I believe 81 that you could get the car with the 350 cubic inch V8 Corvette motor and the 6-speed manual. So and this car, you know, it has that Borg Warner 6-speed and the LT1 Corvette motor. So you can see the condition of the car. We'll just, I'll show you again real quick. This car pretty much lives in a garage under a cover. So you can see like all these channels that hold water. When these cars sit outside, sometimes these will get debris built up on them and they can get eroded or rotted. All this stuff is like original on this car. Really great condition considering its age. So 27 years old this year. 16-inch aluminum wheels. You can get a look at those. This is they're all in this condition. Very good condition. So this is a painted over the aluminum wheel. So I would clean these and then wax them. So they are in very good condition. You can see center caps. All the center caps are there. You know, there's no marks over here. Unfortunately, Eagle GSCs were the original tires. They don't make Eagle GSCs anymore, but the Eagle dealership actually got their hands on these tires for me. These are Z-rated RSAs, so pretty close, as near as it gets replacement for the Eagle GSCs. They've been great. They go good on the car. I can't really speak to their high performance sort of stuff. I don't really drive the car that hard. It's mostly just a garage date night kind of car. You can kind of see by the tire wear, it's kind of an opportunity. This tire's got about 7,000 or 8,000 miles on it. Actually, it's probably between 5 and 7. And there's still a pretty good amount of tread left on there. And the back tire matches the front. So at this point, they kind of reflect that the car is, you know, not been driven overly aggressively. So when the ad came out for the car, it said that the sound was worth the price of admission alone. That sound comes from these rectangular exhaust ports, and I have to say I would totally agree. This is an amazing sounding vehicle. And I'm just gonna start it up real quick and give you a little sample of what this car sounds like. Hear the idle kick down. It's a very good running car. I love the exhaust. Probably one of my favorite exhausts. I feel like when I hear a 94 Camaro go by, I know it's a 94 Camaro. And isn't that what an exhaust should be? So moving forward, the motor is unmodified. There's nothing going on there. No aftermarket parts installed on the car. It's an all original motor. I don't mess around under the hood a lot with the detailing or whatever. I just pretty much keep it all original and all that sort of stuff. Now, one thing, the OptiSpark on this car, we're not going to be able to get a view of it. Now you can't see it, but 93 and 94, the distributor OptiSpark units were sealed. So, and unfortunately, when they unsealed them in '95, to fix the problem with the distributor problem, they changed the drive unit for the distributor too. So you can't just take a '95 distributor and put it on a '93. So this car has a specially modified distributor unit for the OptiSpark fix with a vented airline that connects. You can see that. Here's the vented airline right here that runs down to the distributor. So it's got that distributor in it, and ever since then the car runs like a top. I've got about 8,000 miles on it since the distributor change, and it runs like day one car again. This is the second car I've had a '95 that was just like it when I was younger, and that's what made me want to. I tracked this car and found it and drove halfway across the country to go get it. So 1993 Z28, it's got 41,000 miles on it, LT1 Corvette engine, 6-speed manual, T-tops. Tires are good to go, definitely well past the inspection point, of a bunch of life left on them. And you can hear that exhaust. Boy, it is a great sounding car. So NADA on the car is 14, and the seats and distributor, I'm into it for another 1,500, so that's 15,500, and I'm asking 10,000 for the car. So 518-377-4455. Thanks.